Hi guys, my name is Nino.
My name is Lulu.
And welcome to Thriving at Love and Relationships. Welcome to Thriving at Love and Relationships. Okay, serious face on. Let's get into the meat of the matter. That's why we're wearing black today. Because of what we're talking about.
Are we mourning somebody?
Anyways, so today we're going to be talking about deal breakers. aka red flags, aka give me something else.
That's all.
Okay, deal breakers, aka red flags.
Yes, my love.
Yes, and why are we talking about that? What is the reason?
People have messaged us tired.
Yeah, that's
messaged us tired. My boyfriend is doing this. Should he be doing that? My girlfriend is doing this. Should he be doing that? Should I stay in the relationship? Should I go? I'm like, you know what?
And we will not answer you because it's not us that you're going to go and say, you know, you said that we should break up. Please,
exactly.
Please.
We're going to give you our own opinion from here. Whatever you take out of it, the Lord be with you.
Yes. First of all, even before we get into it, please, ladies, the fact that you get married does not mean you carry your brain, you leave it outside.
That's quite harsh to my female folk.
No, because you hardly hear guys saying, oh, my girlfriend is doing this, should I still stay? It's always the women.
Really?
Yes, most times. And I don't know why you guys do this to yourselves. You know you have red flags. You still want to enter because you believe the guy will change. You don't enter into marriage without your brain. You go with your heart and your brain. So, before we even go into deal breakers, I want ladies to especially listen to this, so that you can have some level of liberation. And even some guys, I'm not saying guys don't go through it, but just realize that this red flag thing is more ladies that...
No, it's actually true. A guy always knows what he wants.
A guy knows what he wants and what he doesn't want.
And if he's not getting what he wants, out the door. But a girl knows what she wants, and if she's not getting, she'll try to adjust. And
she feels like she will never get what she wants in the future. And that's wrong.
Usually ladies that you will hear saying, are my standards too high?
No,
not necessarily.
You are the good thing. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Good thing plus favor. And you are still asking, should I stay?
Wow, we can see Nino is a bit...
Let me not... I'm actually quite... I'm quite offended. But anyways...
Okay.
Anyways.
Come back.
All right, so please take it away.
Okay. So, deal breakers. I mean, in a nutshell, what are deal breakers?
Deal breakers are basically things that you see that are... How do I put it? That if these things are present...
philosophical,
if these things are present in a relationship, you would not go further.
Okay. Simple. If these things are present in a relationship,
or they are present in a person before you enter the relationship, you will not enter into a relationship with the person.
Okay. And what if it's absent? Is there not a part where it can be absent?
So if it's a deal breaker, it means that if it's present in it, then that particular relationship should not continue. That's why it's called a deal breaker. It's going to break something. It's meant to break something.
So what I'm trying to say is that, what if I want a guy who is kind? But kindness is absent. That's a deal breaker.
So that means the opposite is that if the guy is not kind, it's a deal breaker.
Okay.
So the absence of it is the deal breaker.
I guess it's a semantic thing, but we get the gist. So yes, if it's not there, if what you want, you're not getting it, the deal has been broken. Or can be broken, because right?
In marriage, when you talk of, so we always hear God said. But see, marriage is spiritual. Marriage is physical. Marriage is emotional. You have to be compatible across all phases. A lot of people just want to be compatible spiritually and say God said. But the guy, some of your deal breakers is that he curses a lot. Because a lot of people, when they become saved, it's not as if they just get transformed.
Yeah.
Or that he's dirty, but he can pray.
Yeah.
Or his mouth is bar, but he can
his
pray.
His mouth is smelling.
Do you understand? So you have to... It's a 360 thing. Marriage is not just a God said. It's a spiritual institution, but we like to over spiritualize. You are dealing with a human being. It's not a spirit you are marrying now.
Yeah. And I think that there's also this narrative that you can't get all you want in marriage.
Why not?
Calm down.
Sorry.
Don't fight me now.
Sorry.
I'm just saying what people think, that in marriage you usually don't get all that you want. So you just settle for the things that you can see or you can find, right? Because truthfully, if even when God said, or you have a a revelation that this is your spouse to be, right? But the person doesn't fit some attributes that are key. For example, person doesn't take personal hygiene seriously, right? That is something that needs to be fixed before they enter into marriage, because many people sometimes don't change. Right? But I mean, before we get ahead of ourselves, my question would be, should you have deal breakers in a relationship?
Yes.
And should you have in a marriage?
So, the relationship is what's going to end up in the marriage. The marriage is the final bust up. And we know from scripture, we know that the scripture says what God has joined together, and that joining is marriage. No one should put asunder, which means...
So could you up your volume a bit?
Nobody should put asunder.
All right.
Which means if you get married, God doesn't want you to divorce.
Yeah.
However, every stage up until then, if you're not getting what you desire, what is meant to want to have in a marriage, you can.
Yeah.
Which is obviously, it's not just a marriage, just like you want to go into a job. If they tell you that the money, you want 1 million, the money is 100K, it's a deal breaker for you.
Yeah.
Or they don't have work-life balance, it's a deal breaker for you. Do you understand? But not that you now get into the job, you accept it. They are now paying you the amount that you saw before you entered. They are now saying, this job, they earn 10 billion, but they are paying me 100K. You saw it before you entered. And you signed the contract. So it's the same thing with the relationship. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You have what you want, your qualities that you want before you say, I'm entering into the relationship. Or before you say, I'm entering into the marriage. Because some people, they don't have any whatever before they enter the relationship. It's not in the relationship, they are looking for the red flags. At that stage, it's still okay. Which I feel you should even have it before you even enter the relationship. But some people have already started dating. They now start dating and they say, I'm this guy, or this babe, this and that.
Yeah.
And then, but I feel up until the time you say I do. Even if you have proposed, up until the time you say I do. We always say this thing. It's better to have a broken courtship
and a broken marriage
than a broken marriage.
Okay. So, did you have any deal breakers
for me?
when
Yes.
we were dating?
Oh yes. Yeah, oh yes. Of course.
Okay.
For
did
me,
it change? Because we're here today now.
Okay, so here's what we will say. We will say that.
No, what you are saying.
What I will say. So I'll say deal breakers is most likely red flags. What we know red flags.
Yeah.
I'll say I had red flags and I'll say I had yellow flags.
Okay.
So for me, the yellow flags are the ones that they were not a deal breaker, but they were cause of concern.
Okay.
Do you understand? Deal breaker number one, I could not marry someone that was not of the same faith. Not just the same faith, but because in Christianity now, we have a lot of things, but of the same. Who wasn't Pentecostal? Let me just put it. Now, let me make it. He was not in the Pentecostal, so I didn't care the church you went to, but Pentecostal, and the word was taught properly with sound doctrine. Okay. So I already had some churches in the Pentecostal faith that I'm like, it's not whatever. That was for me. But to someone that I had to drag in to love God, I didn't have a relationship with God by herself. Number three, someone that was rude and catty, that had a nasty behavior. Do you understand? Number four, someone did not even want to achieve anything in life. Someone did not even know where her life was headed. Like, he was not even a thought. Just wanted to come and be a liability. Do you understand?
She wouldn't have thought of herself as a liability. Just like, she's soft life.
Yeah, that's fine. Life. For me, it's not going to work.
Gosh, she's so serious.
You get. So, that was it for me. Because those were the four things that if he was present in the relationship, I would not even think twice. Okay. And that's that abusive, which is rude, it has to do with physical abusive person too. You tell me slap. I don't know. So you understand? Like, there's no I'm sorry. You say I'm sorry, but that's the end. There's no I don't forgive that one because you understand. So
that means I didn't have any of those red flags.
You didn't have any of those red flags.
But I had yellow flags.
Your yellow plenty. Be like sunshine. So there were some yellow flags that I was like make her they watch this babe. Be like say you understand.
I'm perfect.
No.
I was perfect.
No. Yeah.
What are some of your shiny yellow flags?
So one of my yellow flags were, I think at the time, your dressing was it was shaky. So I was like, she loves God, but she still wants to dress a bit like a baddie sometimes. So
I'm sorry.
She was like what they call
about
Jesus baddie. And I didn't want that. I wanted Jesus. I didn't want the surname to be baddie. I wanted Jesus Christ. That's what I wanted.
Boring.
So I was like, is it that I need to give her time for God to seep into her so that it will not be like I'm telling her to change her dressing, but there's a conviction to change. Number two, someone who was homely and warm and had some level of.
So was that a yellow flag?
It was a yellow flag. Someone who had a domestic. I won't call it domestic, but just had a homely.
So was it warm?
I know you're like,
warm.
Jesus is
Lord. For you one time.
That's warm. I cannot even know myself. Which one is warm there?
Actually,
let me tell you something. My time to her house. I think she was in her house with her sister because she used to live with her sister. And I got there and it's not as if I was expecting her to come and cook for me. I mean, she was not we're not even dating. Are we dating?
I know we're friends.
We're friends. And I just entered the house and I was really hungry. I was like, Ma, beg, is there anything? She was like, no, there's no food though. There's nothing. I think you even told me that you go and do it myself, that there's bread. You are saying like there's bread that you go and make it. I think it was even like.
I mean, because we're friends. No, we're friends.
There was bread. Her sister now came out, I was like, if he's talking into your house, you did not even make it. Her sister now made, was it Indomie she made? It was Indomie. Very delicious Indomie like this. I'm like, this is a good person, right?
You should have gone with her.
Which is this the same cloth that they cut these two people from? Like she was so uninterested. So, and when I left that day, I was like, hey.
So remember telling you I don't like cooking.
She said she doesn't like cooking. I said, Lobaton. And that's if I wanted that you must, but for me, see, and that's the issue with this cooking. I feel like if you want someone that cooks, marry someone that loves to cook. If you want a chef, get someone that can get a chef. It's not what is going to make your marriage succeed. Do you understand? But I wanted someone who would love to cook for me because I grew up in homemade cooked food. That's how I grew up, and that's what I saw. And I saw that my dad loved it and everything. So I thought that's what I also wanted. Which, I mean, I still want that as a touch. I don't mind having a chef as well, but I still want to love to eat my wife's cooking. So when you saw that, you said you said like as if with such anger, like this guy is saying, I don't like cooking at all. I don't like it at all. And I was like, yeah. Like, what is happening here? So
because cooking can be stressful.
It is stressful. I know it's stressful. But for me, it was something to.
A thing of love.
Is it that she cannot cook, or that she just hates it? Because if you cannot cook, that's an entirely different story. Like, it's not a marriage that going to use to learn how to cook and be poisoning me. You get. But if she knew how to cook and she didn't like cooking, the question is why. And I think that was one. And then lastly was, you were not emotional.
I wasn't.
You were like a robot. Oh yes. Oh my goodness.
That's true.
My wife was not warm at all. Like,
oh my God, it's something of such a distant memory that I didn't remember. I was like that.
I think there was one time I felt sick. The way you even tell me, like, maybe it was even text was to say, "Oh, how are you? Are you feeling better now? God is with you. It is well. Pray. Get up and pray." I said, "Me, get up and pray." When me, I was under my father's house. If I used to fall sick, my mother would treat me like as if,
God,
like as if I was an egg.
Mommy would treat like a king.
Exactly. And I met this person that I was thinking of getting married to, and she was like, she would be like, that's because she was very, very, she was a radical faith person. So when I tell her I want to go to the hospital, like, have you prayed? You should pray. I said, but I can pray in the doctor's office. And I said, no, that I don't think that all these drugs, and she didn't used to fall sick. So it was just very, like, any small thing that happens to me, she will not ask, oh, how did this happen? She's not even, like, her emotions, she was not even there. For her to even say, I love you to me. Now fight too. So those were my yellow flags.
Oh gosh, babe. I think you're exaggerating.
Those were my yellow flags. But I could see that there was some trauma there. I could see that there was some trauma.
That's changing. Wow.
I could see that there was some trauma because
you don't say.
I don't believe that women have that. I think God put every woman with that maternal and nurturing. So when you see a woman that doesn't really express that, I think something happened. You know? And for me, because I was self-aware to also see my flaws, I was like, I think this is something that if I bring to her attention, maybe she can. We're not even dating them, to be very honest. Yeah. So I thought, like, I mean, there's still time. Let me even watch it and see how it goes. So I think those were my yellow flags.
So for you watched it to see if it was going to change,
if it was going to be, or if you could even take the feedback. Because first of all, I had to bring it to your attention. So this is, what I'm saying. Exactly. So if it's different if I don't bring it to your attention and they just expect, but I brought it to your attention because we were friends and we could talk about it. And I saw that you were able to take feedback, and
I'm a good girl.
You did try. I saw that you were able to take feedback and, things got better. Yeah. So that was it for me. How about you?
You're almost playing it so. Anyway. For me, okay, so dating, Yeah, I definitely did have red flags. I didn't want a guy that was not spiritual enough, because I don't want to be the woman that would be carrying my family spiritually, the praying wife, and then my husband is just watching newspaper on Sunday, or rather reading newspaper on Sunday. No, I didn't want that. I wanted somebody who was, I think I remember saying a time ago that I didn't really know what I wanted, but I knew the things I didn't want.
Yeah.
Right. So one of it was, if you are not spiritual, you go in bye-bye, right? And you kind of ticked you ticked all the red flag.
Yeah.
When I say you ticked, I mean like you didn't really have those things. Any of those yes. But yes, you had shiny, bright, yellow, amber flag.
Okay. What is a man without his flags?
Yeah, for me too, it was the fact that I didn't think that you were selfless enough. And that was a trait. That's a trait that my dad has, and it was something I wanted in my husband. Right, that you would go over and beyond for me. But you were the kind of person that, if it's not convenient, cancel me out. Yeah. You are not, like, if there's anything that is going to shake my husband's convenience in any way, forget it. You know, and it was a thing of concern for me, because I was always thinking, would this guy be willing to go?
Because you are still a very selfless person, like an act of selfless person. You can drive to Lokoja for somebody, and me, I'm thinking, can we not send an Uber there?
Yeah, and I remember one time I'd gone to see a friend of mine. A friend of mine, and then I think I couldn't get an Uber back, and I had to take a bus. And it was like late in the night or something like that. And then you had called me. We're still friends. You had called me. And then you were like, oh, are you home now? And I couldn't tell you that I was taking a bus, because I knew you were going to be upset. Yeah. So when I now eventually got home, I was living in Lekki then. And I think I had to walk from the gate to my house or something like that. And it was late. At some point, I had to run because because there were a lot of hooligans on the road. And when I got home and I started giving him the gist that see what happened to me, he now got upset. I was like, why didn't you call me? I could have come to pick you. My mother was like, no, you wouldn't have, because you're not a selfless. Well, you say that you would have. Yeah. But I didn't think he would have, because he never showed that side of himself to me. He never was the kind of person that would inconvenience them. And case in point, during COVID, when we were always talking, remember how I wanted bread from Grand Square Bakery? And I remember calling you and saying, will you drive me to Grand Square to go and buy bread? And I was like, what's all that? Drive to Grand, I don't understand. Is there no bread in the supermarket beside your house? I was like, no, Grand Square bread is different.
No, but it's very weird fellow. The kind of thing she likes for you to do is, since that this is your comfort zone, the thing is here. So even if you want to come out of your comfort zone, you have to stretch yourself.
That's the only one I think she has to stretch, babe. Anyway, he like just dismissed me. He never even asked me, was that the first person that came to your mind to help you? I was like, I don't understand. What does that have anything to do with what I'm talking about?
I first wanted to use me.
I needed help.
Yeah, I think he wanted to just use me for bread.
And even if I wanted to use you, so what?
I don't like being used.
Okay. Anyway, Sha, he didn't understand me. And that was when I made up my mind that this guy is a selfish person.
Here's the thing. Yes, I agree. I was a very selfish person. In fact, my mother always tells the stories of how my siblings are doing
their best day.
I'll be crying. You have to, if you buy cake for them, you have to give me gift too. If not, I'll scatter everything there. So I was actually quite selfish. But one thing I actually realized that at that time, I was selfish in things of, so how would I put it? So for example, if you were, when you said that you were coming home late, I saw it as going into a stage of like duty, like this is somebody I care about. I would inconvenience myself in that regard if it's like a do or die matter. Like I say, you are taking bus inside Lekki, I would have driven there. But if it's something that, I want ice cream from Goldstone, it's like, are you going to die if you don't have ice cream? Like, I wouldn't have. So it was like selective selfishness at the time, but I would have. Remember that time you said to go and make your hair in one place like this, and I was like, what kind of rubbish is this?
Whatever. Anyway, that was one of my yellow flags, and I think that was majorly. Oh yeah, and you used to be so harsh when you talked. So harsh, and it was a thing of concern for me, because like, so it's every time that there's a quarrel, and yes, I used to get upset a lot. At the slightest, he used to get upset.
And he was a perfectionist.
Yes. So it was like, I could never do anything right. I felt like I could never do anything right. And and it made me feel like, so does that mean that I have to be perfect? And I knew that there was no perfection in me, But at some point, it started changing, actually. I think I rubbed off on you.
Yeah, no, that one, Seth. In fact, everybody in my family knows that you rubbed off on me. Even a lot of times that you see me, I give you a gift or something, you're like, my mother be like, I know it's not you that thought about it. I say, that's your business. Collect it from me and my wife. So, and I think at the time I had to do a lot of, because I was in therapy, I did a lot of self-reflection, and all to actually realize, okay, why was I this way? What could I change about myself? So I think even after you had brought it to my attention, it might look like as if I did not hear what you said.
Yeah.
Every time somebody criticizes me, I'm like, I beg, I'll just shut up. But the fact is that I always listen when you speak, even if I'm like, I don't have that one, I'll go back and, So I think that was now when I now began to adjust and try and change and everything.
So those were the yellow flags for me, and I saw that you were changing, and it wasn't a problem anymore. But in marriage, what was your story?
Okay, so at the beginning of marriage, I also had, this was my mindset, that there are some things that you will do to me that's divorce straight. I had the mindset that God is divorce, but
God no go vex.
God no go vex. God has forgiven my sin. And that was because growing up, I had seen in marriages that I looked up to, I've seen from my parents' marriages, and I was like, come on, why doesn't this person just leave the marriage? Like, why are they subjecting themselves to so much emotional pain and just leave the marriage? I had made up my mind that if this ever will be my case, I'm out the door. And the major deal breaker for me was infidelity. I said that if I ever hear that, you don't even need to ever have sex, just kiss, I'm out the door. And I was always so my wife always asked me, if I was to cheat on you, I said, I'm out the door. I don't tell them, like, I'm out the door. It's not even you just pack your load and going. Like, it was not even a discussion point. Like, we couldn't even share points with it. That was the only red flag, for me. And I think also, maybe, would I say physical violence? I think I'll say that, because I'd always hear because I know that when it has to be physical violence, women can be more devious. Women can just, it's in the night, 2 a.m., they just use knife and shoot. Men don't do like that. If they want to beat you, they beat you there. But women, they can poison you, they can do it. So any woman that would maybe out of anger fling something at me and all those kind of things, it was a deal breaker for me. Like, I'm not doing it again. So that was a red flag.
So how did it change?
So it was a message I had watched. I think it was Pastor Diola. She was teaching something about marriage and everything, and she has spoken about how you can't have the mindset that you are, because if you know that God does not want you
that's true.
Divorce, you can't enter into the mindset of there's a criteria for, which means you're one leg in, one leg out.
Yeah.
Do you understand? You've left the door open a bit that so you can get out, and that's not the that's the mindset that the Western modern marriages have, which is you are going in for yourself. But if you are going in for the other person, you can't think that there's a criteria, because the end is that it's the word that is just telling you that the sin that will pain you the most is infidelity. But the fact is that your husband, your wife will lie to you at one point in time. You will forgive. They will do all sorts of, people won't forgive physical violence more than infidelity. So the question is, in the eyes of God,
is there one greater
sin than the other? And He forgives all. So why is it that you as a human being, yes, obviously because of the fact that it feels like as if maybe your spouse gave their body to somebody else, there's a hurt, but there's nothing above forgiveness. And if you actually have the Holy Spirit and ask Him to help you, He'll be able to forgive. We're not condoning infidelity, but the truth is that you have to enter into marriage with a mindset that anything you see, you collect. Yeah, there are some extreme situations where counselors will advise controlled separation, maybe in cases of physical violence, like if the law of life is higher than the law of marriage. You understand? So if they want to kill you, step out for a while and regroup. You can see two people want to make it work. You understand? But that was just it for me. And then my mindset changed. And to be honest, sometimes I would just think, I'm like, so if I walk into this house now and I just see my wife and that guy, how will I react? And my mind, I always be like, it will pay me, but I have to make it work with her. And that's the way my mindset now began to change up. Some people might not agree, but if I say that I want to be in marriage for the long haul, the enemy is going to test.
Yeah.
And usually, like Job said, the thing that I fear the most has come upon me. You understand? So I just tell my mindset that there's nothing that you will do that will make me end or decide to even end the marriage. And that was it for me.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I remember how you would always say, if you cheat on me, I'm out the door. And then it was a thing of concern to me. And I always pray to God that God touch these guys' hearts. Because for me, there was no deal breaker. And I remember when I would say it, and then you look at me as if I had two heads.
Like so. So if you walk into this room and you see me with 3 babes, you will still stay. And she was like, yes, there's nothing there. I will be hot too. But I was telling her, what's wrong with this? What's wrong?
And that's because I understood, or for me, it was that I'm very imperfect, and I cannot expect somebody else to have a level of perfection that I don't have. Yeah. So I kind of had the mindset that you will fall at some point. You will do something that will hurt me. You will do something that I wouldn't like, right? And I should be able to give you grace because it's not like you're going to do it intentionally to hurt me. So that was where I was coming from, that human beings with you, like Pastor Mildred will say, human beings always do something. And it's for you to understand that it's not because they are bad people.
They're just humans.
Yes, they're just humans, right? And so that was why I never had a deal breaker. And when you told me that, after we went for the I think it was a marriage conference, and then you had started talking about how, that your mind is changing about it. And I remember how excited I was, because I was like, finally we're on the same page, not because I was anticipating that I was going to cheat on him or do something wrong, but it was like we're finally on the same page regarding this marriage thing. So.
And I think even in marriage, it has even helped me with a lot of things that normally I would not let go. And I'll just be like, this is my wife for the long haul. Like, which energy do I have now? We still have how many years? Well, I beg, let it go. Do you get so? And I think I learned about forbearance, which is more or less like paying it forward, which is already creating that bank of forgiveness, so that when your spouse does something, you just gonna withdraw 10 grand worth of forgiveness. Do you understand? So already paying it forward, so that the bank is so full that there's nothing that the person will do that should shake you. Yeah, obviously, because we're human beings, we'll be hot about something, but the first mindset is that I forgive you. But obviously, there's still a process of reconciliation and building trust again. Because trust is gained in drops, but is lost in buckets. So that was just it for me.
So for anybody, and why we are having this conversation is because if you are single, and when we say single, it means that you are not married. You are single. What was that your definition of single again?
You are unmarried. You might be single and dating. You might be single and not dating. You might be single and engaged.
Yeah.
If you've not put the ring and said I do, you are single. Exactly. Don't worry about that in that person.
So engaged, you're dating somebody and it's kind of leading to marriage, and you see that there are some things that are just not right. They are red flags. Please. By all means, call it off.
Yes, please.
And call it off. It's possible to still work on these things if you are open to it. But to say that he cheated on you or she cheated on you and you still want to get married to her or him,
exactly.
Kudos to you, but we would not advise that.
With his exes, he's always friends with exes, always checking up on exes. Exes are still coming to his house, and you know that is something that you cannot deal with.
Exactly.
But you love him. Sometimes I always
lovingly let him go.
Sometimes I always wish that you people need to just listen to yourself. Sometimes you will already find the answer. No, it's the truth. Well, I hear something. This person is hurting me. Yeah. But I love him. He's not married to me. What do I do?
Yeah. You have to.
Agape starts just hold your agape for when you enter marriage and say exactly. You can use all but when you enter marriage, let the agape now be saying
because whatever you see during your dating period is going to only amplify when you're married. It's not going to be less. It's not going to disappear. So it's going to amplify.
A partner that is cheating on you as your boyfriend, it will definitely have that tendency to cheat on you when you're married. And I think even what we're trying to say is because marriage in itself is a covenant. Yeah. And a covenant is an unbreakable bond. It's just like what God has with us. It's just like God saying, if you accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, you enter into heaven. However, if you do this, your covenant is null and void. What kind of Christianity will we have? So until you have gotten married, you're not in a covenant.
Yeah.
Jonah, so where are we getting this mindset from?
So please, and please, if you see red flags while you're dating somebody, it is very okay
exit
to break that relationship.
I'm pro broken courtship. It's going to end in a terrible marriage.
Please, because you're going to be married for your whole life. You don't want to deal with that. Then your husband or your wife now becomes your major prayer points.
Exactly.
You should be praying for souls that are perishing in Afghanistan.
You're not praying for you're wasting energy.
Yeah. So I guess that's what
I think that's just what we want to just bring to your attention. So if you are going through this particular situation where you've seen one or two red flags in your relationship, you're not married, by all means, there are 7 billion people on this earth. Don't even have that mindset that you won't find somebody else. It's never too late to get out of it.
You can go.
So please.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So with this, like, share, subscribe.
We hope we've been able to
comment,
help you. Yeah.
Yes.
Let us know if you have any other thing to add, or if you are going to, let us know in the comment section, please.
Until we meet again next week.
My name is Nino.
My name is Lulu.
And this is Thriving at Love
and Relationships.